It says we're broadcasting.
And we're
and
on.
I don't see it. All right, folks, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you, Eric. Thank you.
I'm asking the audience, can they hear us? Hello? Can anybody reply if you can hear us? Outstanding. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. Welcome to Kraken's House of Pain. We're going to be doing a live stream interview with my good friends of KazoMoto. Meet Leanne and Pottsy. They have a dynamite channel and they are BMW enthusiasts. And we're going to spend some time talking with them and hearing about their story on where they have been, where they got started, where they're at now, and where they're going in the future with their channel. So, oh no, there's Smitty Independent dropping the F-bombs already. So, please introduce yourselves, please.
Off you go, Don.
Well, I'm Gary. Mostly I'm called Pottsy. It's part of my name. So pretty much everyone in the motorcycle world knows me as Pottsy. Been riding bikes for, well, I've had a license for nearly 50 years. Been riding motorcycles, you know, quite a long time. Didn't start off as a typical child with a motorbike when I was 8 years old. I had to wait till I was about 14. But went on the road as soon as I could get a license, and yeah, been doing it for quite some time. Been in the world of Harley Davidsons for the last 20 odd years, and now moved across to some BMWs. But yeah, really enjoying it.
Wow, 21 are watching already. We're off to a great start. Thank you, thank you, thank you all. Leanne, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm probably the other half of KazoMoto. Unfortunately, I'm the girl on the back. I did try and get my license many years ago, but unfortunately, I valued everyone else's life and probably my own, and realised my children probably needed a mum, and Gary's pretty hopeless with housework and cooking, so he probably needed a wife.
True.
So I decided to give the bike thing up. I did buy a bike. I decided to give it up and sold it, and quite happy to sit on the back and text and drink coffee and now obviously do all the filming and stuff. So thank you everyone for joining us. It's awesome.
Outstanding. Well, thank you for your introduction. How about we get started on our list of questions here, and you're welcome to go off on any tangents or anything you want to express yourself on. This is your moment to shine, and basically this is a glossy brochure for your wonderful channel. Okay. What made you decide to start a YouTube moto channel?
Okay, so firstly, this is Eric's first live stream as well, and we feel very humbled to being your first guest. So from us to you, Eric, thank you so much for having us. So I suppose
Thank you.
So to answer the first question, I guess for us it was we started off with a lot of footage that was sitting on an external hard drive in a drawer or on floppy disks or whatever else we had. And I said to Gary, it's a shame that we can't show these off and have the grandchildren now, because we have many of those, being able to look at it. So we decided to start up a family YouTube channel. And the grandkids adore coming over and putting it on the big TV and watching themselves. So that was probably a bonus for that. We had a bit of a life-changing moment about 3 years ago now. Unfortunately, Gary got stage 4 kidney cancer and lost a kidney, which meant that he had to retire from a pretty high-end executive job and left him at home for some time. And during that time, he hated TV. So he got stuck into YouTube and found moto vlogging for the first time. And that led to having a look at different locations to go to and making notes about when he got better where we could go, which was great. We planned a Tassie trip, And we decided on that Tassie trip that all these guys were having so much fun with GoPros, we need a GoPro. So before that trip, we bought a GoPro, and very unfamiliar with editing, we decided to use the GoPro app. So hence why our initial videos on our channel have no talking. We didn't think anyone would want to listen to us talking on a video. It was purely just visionary and
we didn't actually know that was part of
it.
No. We just thought you just showed where you went, what you did, and it was fine. You know?
Yeah. So and then we were on Facebook, and we found an 𝕦𝕒𝕒𝕜 content page for us Australian vloggers. So we joined that. Soon after that, there was a post about a meetup, an 𝕦𝕒𝕒𝕜 content meetup, which was last August in Bateman's Bay. So we attended that and met a few of these people that we were watching. We then I posted something on Facebook soon after that, and we had a mutual friend, so a fairly large YouTuber in Australia, and us had a mutual friend on Facebook. And that led to being invited to ride on random occasions with the group here in New South Wales, which was fantastic. And that was an opportunity to gain some friends, do that collaboration that we're very big on, connecting with people, talking to people, especially having that common thread of motor vlogging, motorcycling, and things like that. We shared the channel a little bit, but wasn't getting much traction with subscribers. And we realized that was probably because it looked like a family channel rather than a motor vlogging channel. So we decided we needed to rebrand. A little bit of time working out a name. So Gary's half Japanese, so his mum was Japanese, and I think you can see behind us, and our house has got a very Japanese feel about it. And we like to keep that heritage going through with our children and our grandchildren. So kazoku in Japanese is family. So we took the kazo out of kazoku and added moto on it. And KazoMoto was born, literally. So it was born about the 31st of October last year. So I think we've done a fair bit in a short period of time, even though we've had that YouTube channel for some time. We only rebranded in October last year.
Outstanding. Wow. That's quite the story. I love how you came up with the name KazoMoto and how you tie it into family and to your heritage. And I've shared with you privately, but my parents lived in Japan for quite some time. And all during my childhood, our whole house was done in Japanese.
Beautiful.
Every stick of furniture, every plate, everything in the house was Japanese. So, and I still have a few of those items around this house that remind me of 50 years ago. So fascinating.
And I think even the graphic behind you, Eric, which is our back graphic on our T-shirts, that was drawn by our tattooist. And when I say drawn, I mean literally on a piece of tracing paper, because they're old school. And her and her husband, Dave, is the tattooist, and Sue is his lovely wife. And she does a lot of the drawing, or they both draw. And it's a family business. So they've got his son doing tattooing, and daughter-in-law and everything. And even their grandchildren now tattoo.
Yeah, they got a number of generations working in the shop together now. They had a split shop. Now they're all together again. And I was actually chatting to him the other day and looking at some of the work he's been doing in his tattooing. And I said to him, you can't retire. And he told me that, I've been told that he's absolutely first class, you know. So
when we went to them and said what we were doing, they thought it was awesome. And we approached them to do a graphic for us. And she said, we want free reign of that. We want to do something that represents both of you, because we meet up probably every couple of months and have a lunch with them. And they came up with that graphic. So we were more than rapt and very honored to have them do that for us as well.
We had our daughter convert it to, she does graphic art. And so she was able to convert it so, you know, it could be imprinted onto things and so forth. It's so good.
Your son Steve is in the chat, by the way. He said, "Hello, parents."
Hello, parents.
You're his crotch fruit. You should be proud.
Yeah, that's very good.
he's our baby, but like he's 6'8".
6'8". Yeah.
So yeah,
All
he's
right,
my
all
baby.
right.
He's our baby.
So when I come out to Australia, if we get into trouble, I'm going to be on his side of the argument. All right.
Correct.
Eric, he's a double black belt.
I'm out. I'm out. Believe it or not, on our to-do list, Mrs. Kraken and I are going to go to Japan and
nice.
for a visit. And who knows? Maybe I'll reach out to you and see if you guys are up for another visit back to the motherland if you're interested at that time.
Oh,
we're definitely going back at some stage. It's just a matter of time.
We've been a couple of times and loved every moment of it. And I think this time we actually would, when we did go back, we'd be comfortable to hire a car and go around ourselves. The first 2 times we were a bit scared, but good.
So next question, what's the core goal of your channel? What do you hope to accomplish? I did get the vibes of putting your mark on the internet for your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren and future generations of the Kazo.
Yeah. So I guess for us, our motto, and I'm not answering all the questions, but I know some of the questions that are coming up, and Gary's going to talk more bike stuff. But I guess our core message is definitely it doesn't matter what you ride as long as you're riding. And as you say, Eric, as long as you're riding because it's good for you, definitely that. We like to think that we live in a beautiful country. So getting some of exposing Australia and what it has to offer people as well. And sharing our experiences as a rider and a pillion. So as the pillion, I'm very much aware that you may be on the same bike and traveling on the same road, but you have a different experience from a rider to a pillion. So definitely emphasizing that aspect and showcasing a 2-up perspective, as you guys call it, not pillion. Definitely motorcycling safety and awareness is a big thing for us.
Yep.
And friendships, meeting people, creating memories, experiences. I've got a little bit of a creative side in me, so I find that is brought out through the creating the content a little bit, and with your help.
We still collaborate on a lot of things, and I mean I watch a lot of YouTube, and I suppose you learn a lot from watching YouTube, and the do's and don'ts, and what's good and so forth. But there's no perfect formula. You know what I mean? My way of thinking about the core goals is we just want to leave a bit of a legacy for all our children and grandchildren when we've got plenty of those. And I feel like I don't know whether we're trying to be this greater channel or not. We just want to be something that we're proud of, and the kids can watch. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we're doing.
We do a lot of things together as well, all the YouTubers, both of us. But we're never bored with each other's company, and I think that's probably it's definitely a good thing for us. But I think that is very much portrayed in our videos, that we do enjoy each other's company, and I think, well, let's face it, we really want to be just a cool papa and grandma, really. But I don't know if we'll ever achieve that aspect.
I think you have the market cornered on that, so don't sell yourself short. Come on now, you're riding motorcycles, the grandparents, and you travel, and amazing. Most grandparents are playing bingo every Friday night at the local church.
Exactly, but yeah, so it's all good.
But I think also too, Eric, one of our other goals is, as you get older, your ability to do things and go places, and even hold a big bike up these days, is going to get limited. You know what I mean? So we're keen to try and do as much as we can, ride as many times as we can through the year. We haven't done much lately, only because family's got in the way. We've got a wedding coming up. We've got another 2 grandchildren being born this year. It's just, not out of control, but it's certainly it's time absorbing. There's no doubt about it,
And I think we had a scare with Gary's sickness as well. So I think that heightens your awareness of not taking things for granted, and certainly living for the moment, and when you can, doing things.
Yeah, it seems like every time I go to the doctor, he tells me I'm sicker than I am, and I don't really want to hear that. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're doing everything we're supposed to do, but we are actually going to travel quite extensively a bit towards the end of this year. So.
Yeah.
I have a question that's not on the list, so feel free if you want to take a hard pass on it. But you guys have been together a very long time. How long is your private business? That's a whatever. Did you date Leanne on a motorcycle?
No.
No.
So Leanne and I met through a work situation, and we've been together for 34 plus years. And I was married previously and had some children in that marriage. But yeah, we've been together 34 years. It's been a pretty solid 34 years. We've been riding motorbikes together for at least 20 of those years. Leanne had never been on a motorcycle before in her life. I said, I'm going to go and buy a bike, and Leanne wasn't only either fussed one way or the other. But I said to her, do you think you can be a pillion? She said, I don't know. So we bought a bike and away we went. But, great pillion from day one.
I think historically, I wasn't actually very good on a push bike. So, yeah, there you go. So it's possible.
I asked that because during my late teens and early 20s, every girl that I dated, I had many a father slam a door in my face when I pulled up on a motorcycle to take their daughter out. And they were like, oh, hell no, get out of here.
Well, unfortunately, I've lost my parents, but I can tell you now, if Gary turning up on a motorbike with the tattoos he's got, I would have been locked away in my bedroom and went, you're not going.
Oh, my gosh, too funny. Okay, next question. What bikes do you currently own? And you got a herd of them.
Yeah, well, I've got around about 7 bikes in the garage currently, and I've sent 2 mini bikes to my son's house. Those mini bikes actually belong to my youngest son, and they're in excess of 20 years of age, and they still work like they did from day one. And I refurbished them and looked after them. My main motorcycles are, I've got 2 Harley Davidsons. I've got a Softail Custom, the 2009 model Softail Custom. Kind of spent too much money on it as you would. I try to turn it into a traditional looking Harley Davidson, something that was like that recognizable bike. I've got ape hangers on it, and it's just a wonderful bike. I've spent a lot of money on the engine and so forth. It's a great bike. Second bike that I currently own is a night rod. And I bought a night rod, and I know everybody all say, oh, God, you bought a night rod, whatever. I love it.
It's a great bike. It's a great bike.
It's a magnificent bike, and people say, oh, they don't handle them, whatever. You just got to wrestle a little bit harder, and I love it, So they're my 2 Harley Davidsons. Currently have 2 BMWs. So I've got an R1250 RT triple black. That's a full touring bike. That's the bike we would probably ride in our normal touring and so forth. I've never ridden a motorbike that had so much tech in it, and I don't necessarily think that I overthink the technology on the bike as such. It'll improve your riding. It does lots of good stuff. Even in rain mode, the feedback through the bike is unbelievable, So that's our main source of transport for our touring. And just recently, I've also bought a 2023 100th anniversary bike. I kind of looked at the world drop when it came down, and we were like, we don't want to buy one of those. And took a bit of doing to do it. But, the same day they were announced, we'd paid a deposit. We waited, quite some time to get it. And I love riding it. It's really an unusual bike. It's a heritage bike. People say it's old school. It's heritage. I mean, it's got some technology, but it doesn't ride like a bike with a lot of technology. But
Right.
Beautiful machine, Additionally, I've got another 2 bikes that's registered. I've got a Honda Monkey bike, and I bought that only because, and I've never really ridden it, to be quite honest. It's registered, but I bought it because they don't make them anymore, and I felt from when I was a child, and I remember everyone had, the old Honda 50s, and I wanted one, so I thought I'm going to buy one. And my son talked me into buying a 300 Husky.
You know, the one that's just commented on the comments that he's the favourite one.
He said, "Oh, let's buy some dirt bikes." So I said, "Oh, okay, we'll buy a dirt bike." And
the Husky, that's a beast. That's a beast of a bike.
so I said, "Let's buy 2-strokes." And he goes, "What are they?" You know. And anyway,
Oh yeah, my first bike was a 2-stroke Yamaha RD 400. It was out of control.
Yeah, but ask Gary. He's been on it twice and fallen off of it twice.
Yeah, I've had 100% strike rate. I've ridden it twice and fallen off twice. And the second time, that was aided by my son, but you know he'll tell you differently. The only other bike I got in the garage is, and I don't know why I still got this bike, but I bought a KX 450 motocross bike in 2009. It's a Monster Edition Kawasaki. It's done less than 10 hours, and it's still in the garage. It still runs properly and everything. I just replaced the fuel pump. But I've probably got a few too many motorcycles at this stage. But
well, a couple of comments. First of all, I want to thank everybody. We have 33 people watching right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Outback Outlaw Nathan was asking if you want to sell that Softail Custom. He says it's his dream bike.
Yeah, look, you know, when you say a bike's for life, I think this is my bike for life because when I was younger, we always had to sell something to buy something. And I think I said that in one of my previous videos. When I was younger, as I said, we had to buy and sell things to move on. But the funny thing about it is, you know, I rode a motorbike to work as an apprentice motor mechanic. And I used to ride like maybe in your terms, 20 miles, so 35 odd kilometers a day each way. And, you know, we were considered the poor kids. You know, today, owning a motorbike today is kind of fashionable. If you say I've got a bike or whatever, it's fashionable to say I own a Harley Davidson or whatever it is, you know. And I get that, you know. But when I grew up, I mean, you know, here's me at night time saying to my dad, "Oh, can I borrow your car?" And you know, my dad was very good to me as far as that was concerned. But, you know, I rode motorbikes to work. I rode a motorbike. If I went to the shop, I'd ride a motorbike wherever I went. But if I had to take a girl out, I'd definitely ask to take the car.
Very good. I love it. You have quite the assortment of bikes there. And my gosh, if you two ever want to dig down on talking about each one of those bikes, you have so much content sitting in your garage. Which leads me to the next question. What's your experience in the industry, in the motorcycle industry, or is it just a hobby you've done on the side for the last half a century?
Yeah, look, it's really a hobby I've done on the side as such. I did work in the automotive industry for nearly 50 years, you know, starting as an apprentice motor mechanic, and I worked in Ford dealerships most of my life. And as a service manager, I was 22. I knew absolutely nothing, but I learned to grow up. I grew up very quickly during that time. I worked for the Ford Motor Company in Sydney and in Melbourne. And I worked for my last Ford dealer for the last 30 odd years. And I held quite a few jobs there, but I was the head of service for New South Wales when I retired. But I did have some motorcycle experience, and I did actually, straight after I retired, I got a job and I was selling Harley Davidsons. And I got the job a bit by default, actually. It's not like I went down. I just happened to know a lot of people, and they said, "Oh, do you want to come and sell some bikes?" I said, "Yep, I'll give it a go." And I was there a total of 35 days. You know, it's not a long time. But I did sell 26 bikes during that time. In fact, I sold 2 bikes on the second day I was there. In the second day in the afternoon, I sold 2 bikes. I was absolutely amazed. But situations and people, and perhaps being that I'd been a manager for a long time, and I don't know whether Leanne wants to tell you she thinks I'm a shit employee.
No, I've said to Gary previously after multiple times of him coming home and saying the frustration of some people, I said, is it possible that you're an excellent manager and an excellent leader, but you're a shit employee? So
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But what happened was I felt that it wasn't right for me at the time, and so I left. But I was gutted leaving that short time more than I was my whole career. I loved it so much, and you know, in Sydney, it's not hard to be known to everybody in motorcycling. If you just ride your bike around, go to the local pubs and go on a lot of rides. I'm in a social club that is fairly large. We're quite prominent in Sydney. You tend to know a lot of people, and that didn't help. That didn't hurt me selling motorcycles at the time. In fact, I was never pushy during the bike sale. If they bought it, it was fine. If they didn't buy it, it didn't matter to me. And I think that's probably what helped, so.
Absolutely. Nobody likes to be pressured into anything when it comes to a purchase. It's not a fun experience. Here in America, people loathe shopping for an automobile. It's a beat-up session to go buy a car in this country. It is. There's a few mom and pop dealerships out there that really do offer the service you're talking about, but very few. It's a rarity. Okay, which was your favorite bike of all time? And that's going to be a tough one. You've had a lot of bikes.
Probably his next one.
That you're not aware of yet, that's already on the radar.
Exactly. He did go one day to buy a helmet and came home and said, I just bought a motorbike. So nothing's impossible.
Yeah, I must admit there's been a few times that I've been sidetracked and bought a motorcycle instead of something I was set out to buy. I probably think my Softail Custom is probably my bike, my best bike, or the one I love the most. And I'm going to probably split that into two sections if I can. I bought this bike and I thought to myself, I've spent a lot of money on other Harley Davidsons. I think I've had 8 new Harley Davidsons over the years. But, when you buy a bike, and you start to add things to it, you're just sort of buying stuff out of a catalogue, which is quite normal. I kind of took this bike and I thought, I'm going to change a few things to make it look something like it's recognisable to me. And I keep saying that because when I grew up, I never really thought Harley Davidsons were the thing for me, but I could tell you what a Harley Davidson looked like. I could tell you what I thought it represented. And so I set about with this bike and I spent a lot of money just changing the appearance. Firstly, just the way it looked. And I think that's the bike I'm probably going to keep forever. It's my forever bike and it's probably the best bike I've ever owned, to be quite honest, Now, if I was to split this into a slightly different category, in the bike I miss the most. Okay, so I'll tell you the bike I miss the most. When I was 18, I bought a Honda 4. I bought a brand new Honda 4. And I remember taking it home. My father was absolutely amazed. No one rode a motorbike in our family. And my poor old mum was nearly in tears, She just couldn't believe that I'd spent the money and bought this motorbike. I had the bike for about a year or a bit over. And while I missed that bike the most is I never got the most out of it because I had a rather odd collision or crash on the bike. I was traveling down the highway. A guy... we weren't going very fast. Traffic was moving slow in all 3 lanes, and a guy ran between the traffic, and we actually collided. Our bodies collided, and it took the bike down and really quite damaged it. You know what I mean? And probably between that and insurance and the drama that it created, because I'd run a person over. Not that he ran in front of me, but I ran him over. It kind of took me off bikes for a few years, and it was really a pity.
Can I ask you a layman's question from a US? I've never heard of a Honda 4.
Yeah, Honda 754. So,
okay.
Yeah. So
well, they had the 354, they've had the 554, the 754, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought you were referring to a 4-cylinder, but there was many variants sold here in the US.
Yeah, so Honda 754 was, would have been around about 1974 or something like that. And I tell you what I paid for that bike in those days. I paid $1,550 for that bike. I remember, because it was almost everything I actually ever had to spend. You know what I mean? But
can I just say that's an example of Gary's elephant head. He remembers everything.
When I bought that Yamaha RD 400, I bought it the day I got my driver's license and my motorcycle endorsement. It was $1,200 US. It was everything I had to afford the insurance and the bike, but I was strolling through tall cotton that day. It was one of the greatest days of my life. you know. So there you go.
Well,
I was next question. You already answered. How many years have you been riding together? And you told me you've been riding 20 years together, correct?
correct.
And you've been
Yeah.
riding pinion for 2 decades, then, Leanne, correct?
Yeah.
All right, all right. Well, folks, they recently put out a video on bit riding as pinion from somebody that's been doing it for 20 years that you ought to go take a look at on their channel. It's a wonderful video and a great topic that I've never bumped into on YouTube. So excellent topic, by the way.
Thank you, Eric.
What's your favorite trip or ride you've taken anywhere in the world?
Well, I actually think it's Tasmania.
Definitely.
We had a BMW, an adventure bike. We had a GSA, an R1250 GSA, and we went to Tasmania, and we're probably gone
3 weeks.
3 weeks or more for that trip, mostly in Tasmania as well. The reason that it was probably one of the best trips we had was the bike made it such an easy trip as well. But I got to tell you, if anyone hasn't been to Tasmania, and Tasmania is a state of Australia, but it's not on the mainland. To get there, we actually catch a vehicle ferry, and it's an overnight trip for us in that time. But the roads down there are sensational. People like 𝕿𝕗𝕚 and all the moto content guys are going there next year. And I know some of them have already been to Tassie as well. Could you imagine, Eric, that whoever worked out the road system got a pen and went like that, and that's how the roads look, because you wouldn't want to drive a car around Tasmania. It's definitely meant for motorcycling. Scenery is sensational.
Yeah.
The amount of inland water is just incredible.
I think 100 kilometres or 100 miles in Tassie for you guys is
60 miles. You'd normally do in an hour just on open road. You have to allow another 50% of that time, if not more. Doing 300 kilometres across Tassie will take you majority of the day. It is just so windy and so beautiful,
Moz just said he did it in the 80s.
Moz is older than me.
All right. Well, now I'm heartbroken because I didn't include Tassie on our trip coming up this fall in November, and it sounds like I'm going to be missing out on one of the most beautiful states of Australia.
It is. It's quite an incredible state, and the funny thing with people in Tassie is when we talk to people in Tassie, a lot of people don't travel in Tassie themselves. It's kind of really weird. We're asking some people, have they been here and everything, and they sort of like, no. But
we were having a morning tea one day, remember? And they said, "Where are you off to?" And we told them, and they went, "Oh my God, are you going that far?" It was only like 200 kilometres. And they went, "Oh my God, what, before tonight?" And we went, "Yeah."
Too funny.
Ridiculous.
It's an absolutely beautiful place. We actually went to a place it's called the Gordon Dam, and I guess if you have a look at the Gordon Dam history and the Franklin River, this dam is in the middle of nowhere. It's like if you went to Hobart, and I think if you head kind of pretty much west, it's about 200 kilometres into the wilderness, and there's this beautiful dam, and I didn't walk down to the dam.
I did. I'm a good girl.
I'm scared of heights, but then again, someone had to ride the bike back, so
yeah,
I didn't volunteer to go down. So, but it was spectacular.
Understood. Craig is in the chat of Moto Travels. He and Lucinda, I believe, are still in Australia right now, and they just recently visited Tasmania, and they said it was absolutely amazing.
I'm just reading now, Eric. They said 1 week wasn't enough, and 1 week isn't enough in Tassie.
Did you catch up with them when they were in Sydney?
No,
unfortunately, I think we had the Aussie Moto content group got together with them, which was great.
We did get invited, but I think we actually had a family thing at the time, and we really couldn't go. That was the problem. But we did miss out on that.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, they were doing my God, they've covered so much of the globe in the last year or two. It's unbelievable. But they swung through Redneckistan, where I live, and stayed with us here for a day or two, and I took them on some back roads in our area, and we just had a hell of a good time. So
Amazing.
they're wonderful people. They're wonderful people. If you
And
get
that's
to
the
meet them.
wonderful thing about YouTube. You do meet some wonderful people and make those connections, which is great.
Craig just said they're home, so they're back in Canada in the middle of fires. The fire's going on in Canada. The smoke is drifting across Virginia right now. It's nothing but smoke outside here. It's crazy.
We're getting that news here because obviously firefighters are going from around the world, and we have our fair share of some pretty decent fires as well. You know, so yeah, but we have seen it on the news here. So
yeah, looks pretty bad.
All right. Have you ridden outside of Australia?
No. but do you know something? It's on my bucket list, and I've told Gary, and he goes, well, you check it out and you let me know if you can work out how to do it. We would love to ride around in Japan. That would be an absolute goal for us. But recently, a little bit drawing it back a little bit closer to home, we have thought about going over to New Zealand and riding around New Zealand. So a couple of options that we'll keep in mind.
Well, come to the U.S., and I always have a garage full of bikes. Grab one and go.
We would love to do that.
I'm an hour away from Skyline Drive and the Blue Ridge Parkway. That'll take you all the way down to Maggie Valley and the back of the Dragon and the tail of the Dragon, et cetera, et cetera. All of that is within a day away.
Well, be careful what you wish for, Eric. We might end up on your front doorstep.
I'm just careful. My cooking will slam your arteries. I'll tell you that right up front. Well, that was a good question. All right, tell me about the R9T 100-year anniversary, and I have my thoughts onto the styling cues of it because I love heritage, and people don't know this, but BMW has been around for 100 years.
Yep.
That's no joke. As everybody else is patting themselves, Harley Davidson are 120, and Indian is what, 106, 116? Somebody will correct me. But 100 years is no joke for BMW. So tell me about the R9T 100 anniversary bike.
Look, it's an unusual bike to ride. It's sort of a bit laid over for me, you know what I mean? But the bike itself is quite a beautiful bike to ride. One of the things I noticed was I remember when I was quite young, somebody had an R65 maybe or something early, some early BMW. But I do remember the Kickstarter was in the center of the motorcycle and so forth. And when I rode the bike, I can remember the bike swinging from the boxer engine, you know what I mean? And this bike here actually does that. And I don't notice it so much on my RT, but this bike here is reminiscent of that. So it is really kind of bringing back that old school feel, you know what I mean, to me as such. Everything about the bike, I think the way they accented the bike is quite good. A lot of modern stuff, like a lot of option 719 pieces on the bike. But I think the real key to the bike is the paintwork, the chrome and paint. I mean, I try to look up exactly the process and how it's done that, but it's definitely reminiscent of the older years and so forth. But it is just incredible to look at, even down to the way it's got tubeless tires, but the way the spokes, I see a lot of modern bikes are doing it now. They're sitting proud on the inside of the rim, you know what I mean? Not like an adventure bike where they poke to the outside of the rim. But yeah, it's beautiful to ride.
I've read many articles about the R9T, and they all say it has loads of character, and it's a harken back to the rumble of the boxer motor for the last 100 years, or however long they've been making the boxer motor. Harley Davidson actually made a boxer motor. They copied BMW, and it never went into production. It's on my to-do list to do a video about that. Yes, sir, they did, because it's that dependable of a motor. And of course, look what the Russians did with come on, the side hack,
the Ural.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's 100%. That's 100%. BMW molds being used. 100%.
True.
So anyway, so to me it looks like I don't know, somewhere up between a 67 to a 69 R75/5. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, look, I think looking at back in recent pictures and doing a little bit of history on it, yes, I think you're absolutely spot on. I don't claim to be quite a BMW expert. I mean,
I'm
just,
not. I'm not
yeah,
either.
yeah, I'm just in the early stages of being being an owner and a rider and really enjoying it. But I think the R90 has a different feel. I got to say it's quite a nimble bike, and an 1170 air-cooled engine. And I think it's a respectable, 109 horsepower or something. Power to weight, it is just sensational to ride. I've only ridden it a couple of times, to be quite honest. I'm maybe just a bit too lazy or something in my retirement or something, but I got plenty of time for that. But yeah, it's fantastic.
Wonderful. I was so excited when you folks ordered that bike and got it and did the big reveal. That was amazing. I haven't seen one in a showroom yet or in the wild. I would love to get a look at one up close. Obviously, I love all bikes. I'm a bike whore. I am who I am. So it is what it is.
Sure. Yeah.
Moz says it's a 64 BMW copy, or they style it after a 64, if that is accurate or not. So
we'll go with that. Yep.
Go ahead.
So we'll go with that. I mean, I think
Moz
would know. Yeah.
All right. The next question is for Leanne, and what I'm blown away by your channel from the very first day I started watching it was Leanne's editing. What the hell? I went to the School of Hard Knocks to get to where I'm at, and you right out of the gate are just polished to a T.
I don't know about that.
I do know about it because I do it every week for the last almost 3 years this month.
Thank you. You're too kind.
So where did you become so good at editing?
I don't know. I wouldn't call it good. Maybe lucky, probably more so. But look, my day job is I work at a large university in Sydney. I'm not a lecturer. I'm an admin person. Well, actually, I'm a change practitioner, and probably people will say, "What the hell's that?" I deal
What
with.
is that?
I deal.
What the hell's that?
What is that? Yeah, what is it?
I try and explain it to Gary all the time, and he just doesn't get it. So change.
Yes, but he's a shit employee. He's not going to get it. Remember?
I know where to take my place.
Those that are familiar with universities obviously may be aware that they go through restructures quite often with changing VCs and things like that. So a change practitioner, or what I do, is go in and actually help people deal with change. I do a lot of talking to people. I do a lot of talking, Del. I do a lot of presentations. I'm in project management, a lot of process mapping, things like that. So that's probably the job I do. So I'm quite comfortable in that space. We have a marketing team at the university that does a lot of the marketing stuff, but I have a pretty good idea of what I want and where I need to be and where I need to end up being in a presentation format. So what I've tried to do, and I've always loved the editing side of things, but I've never had an opportunity to kind of go headfirst into it. So I've really grasped the opportunity when we started doing this. Gary said, I think you might be able to use your skills and put it into something that might benefit us. Yep. Which is what I try and do, I guess. I like to have things that flow, and I like to have a story, and we like to have a story in what we do. So I try and always bring that out in the editing. And I kind of try also to, and I'm slowly learning to match the music with the vision as well, and trying to create a story that way. But I've still got a lot to learn. Like, seriously, I don't think I'm as good as what you're saying, but I do have a lot to learn, and I'm happy to do so. But we kind of explored a few of the editing tools, and I found I was more comfortable with DaVinci Resolve. So that's the one that we use at the moment. And Gary was wonderful and bought me one of these whiz bang DaVinci Resolve speed editor things, which is like a little panel with a with a turn knob and all these different.
And it's still in the box.
And it scares I'll be honest with you, and don't tell anyone, it scares the crap out of me. I like to have control of things and use I'm a bit of a keyboard warrior in that aspect, and a speed editor that had all these different things just scares me. So he says to me all the time, I don't know why you're not using that speed editor. And so I will have to do some more playing around with that.
Excellent. Excellent.
But I think also too, one of the things that, it's easier to have bad audio. It's easier to have bad vision. You can't get away from it sometimes and so forth. So we miss a lot of stuff because, we didn't get some parts of it right. So, we get a bit disappointed because we've, filmed something or we've thought we've, captured the right audio for it, and it's been absolutely disgusting, and I think that's where Leanne kind of has that, the polish you say, Eric, and I think she's got the polish for it as well. We'll drop out those bits and whatever. Sometimes we'll use them, but, what do you do,
Next question is actually, I'm going to turn it over to you two. You have an exciting announcement of a collaboration that you wanted to share. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we, Caffeine and Gasoline that we've been working with. So they're a brand and print shop. So back in February last year, we had this message come through to KazoMoto that, hey, you guys are really good. We'd like to go in and do some sponsorship with you guys and send you some T-shirts. And we went, sure, go right ahead. So that was excellent. So they work from a private studio in Western Sydney out towards Penrith. And they do printing and embroidery and things like that. So caffeinegasoline.co is the website. You can click on those guys and have a look at their product. They have amazing product. They also sell through Black Pup Moto, and I think the other one was Peak Country. So they don't have a shop face, but they sell through a lot of franchises out Penrith Way and also Rutherglen. So I think it's Caffeine and Machine in Rutherglen,
yep.
And they're really big. They did the Rutherglen Rumble.
Yep.
The Watchmaker in Windsor, Tractor 828, I think it is, and the Brew Lab in Penrith. So they're the areas that he sells from. But we were so happy with the product when it arrived in the mail, that we reached out to him and met him personally and spent a morning with him talking about what we were looking at doing. And the collaboration was born from that, which we're really happy with. He's doing all our T-shirts now, and we're working with them to revamp our back logo to make it pop a little bit more on the T-shirt. So he's very good graphic wise as well. So he's doing a little bit of work with that. And we're also doing a collaboration with him for a back piece that's unique to us again and unique to him. And that'll be in a bit of an exclusive run. But we wanted to thank Caffeine and Gasoline because they've actually helping this live stream as well and giving away a T-shirt. Which will be a brand. It'll have our logo on the front and our collaboration artwork on the back. And he's also set up a Kazo15 discount code. So if anyone goes on to that caffeinegasoline.co website and puts in Kazo15, you'll get a 15% discount on any product that you pick. So we're really happy to be in collaboration and thank him very much. Scott's an awesome bloke.
Okay. Two questions. First of all, Maz is asking, do they do online? I assume online ordering he's referring to?
Yes, okay. They do, Maz. Yep.
And will you send me the information to their website and your discount code?
Definitely, and you can put it down the bottom.
I'll put it in the narrative of this video when I post it live or post live.
Yep.
That would be great. Now, how is somebody going to win this giveaway?
Okay, so what we're doing is anyone that likes and comments on this live stream when it's up, we'll give you a week to be able to view it, like and comment. And then Pottsy and I, and I'm happy to have you in that stream as well in a week's time, Eric. and we'll do a draw. Everyone will get anyone that likes and comments will get a number. We'll do a bit of a flicky thingy, and we'll see who wins it, and then we will mail anywhere in the world of your size.
Amazing. That's awesome. Folks, be sure to tune into that. And they're going to comment on this video, or we're going to post this video on your channel and they comment on that?
On your one. On your one, Eric.
All right. So, folks, comment in this video after the live. Just put a comment in there. I'm in on the shirt or whatever. And then do the usual insults around that towards Kraken. That usually works. And we'll know
there'll be more opportunities to win t-shirts, and we'll say how that's going to come around a little bit later in this live stream.
Moz is asking if they have that much cotton. I mailed him a t-shirt that wouldn't fit his arm, so he had to give it away. I was rather embarrassed about that.
No, Moz, if you're the lucky winner, it'll be in your size, Tom.
Outstanding. So that's your collab, and talk to me about Motorcycle Council of New South Wales.
Okay, so the Motorcycle Council of New South Wales is an internationally recognised umbrella group of motorcycle clubs, associations, and riding groups. So they were formed in 1981, I think it was, and they're one of the world's peak bodies of motorcycling. So I think it represents about 60 clubs.
Yep.
And about 36,000 riders. So their role is to represent motorcycle riders in the state of New South Wales and safeguarding their rights, which is awesome. It's also their aim is to be and be seen as the peak motorcycle rider advocacy for New South Wales as well. And their main objective is to provide a link between the motorcyclists and the government and foster good public image for motorcycling and provide a forum for people to go to if they've got issues, and collaborate with all the similar organisations that go along. So the pretty important role for them. So I guess how we became associated is around the pillion and rider perspective. I felt we needed some clarification on certain things. So I reached out to, Gary mentioned that there was a motorcycle council, which I wasn't aware of. So I reached out and had a look at their website and found that some of the things were a little bit difficult to find. So I emailed them and said, this is what we're doing. This is what we'd like to achieve. And these are our goals for our YouTube channel. They were somewhat impressed, I think. Yeah. And they reached out and said, can you join one of our Zoom meetings and tell us a little bit more, which we did. And thankfully, they were happy with us. So we joined the group as such, probably around our promoting capabilities to be able to get things out and on our Instagram and YouTube and using our platform to be able to do that. So their main rides in New South Wales, I think there's the Pink Ribbon Ride, which is for breast cancer. They do a Ride to Freedom, and that's for the Childhood Foundation. And they have a system called MARI as well, yep, which is the Motorcycle Accident Rehab Initiative. So they do a lot of that. But their main thing, and the thing that drew us in as well, was an event called Biker Talk. And we attended Biker Talk last year.
Breakfast Talk.
Sorry, Breakfast Talk.
Yep.
And we attended that last year, And we found that quite a really great initiative on their part. And what it is, it's a motorcycling event that showcases safety gear, and they have road safety initiatives. They have stalls you can wander around. They have demos. They get paramedics in, and they do like an accident prevention and what to do if you come across a bike accident and things like that. So that's really good. I think last year they had about 2,000 people turn up to the event. It was
huge.
Which was fantastic. And this year it's on the 29th of October. And they start the day off pretty early, about 8 a.m. with a breakfast for everybody, and they have like a stage presence and everything. So we're going to be working with the Motorcycle Council of New South Wales this year for this year's event, which is we're very honoured to be able to help them out and be part of the day.
Excellent, excellent. It sounds like 𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕜, one of the commenters posted in the comments here in the United States. One of the things I love about KazoMoto, and you need to kind of wrap your mind around, is folks like Gary and Leanne and myself have been doing this a long time, and I'm sure Pottsy can relate to this. It's an amazing that we're still alive after that journey when you look back on it. Am I wrong? You know, when you think about all the close calls and whatever. And so what we're trying to do, or what KazoMoto is trying to do, is what I generously say on my channel is turn new riders into old riders. And they need to know what to learn, what to look for, proper gear, proper instruction. And that's not from Bubba saying, hold my beer and let me show you how to do this. That's not going to work. You have to get professional help, and there's services out there and good people that will steer you straight, and you'll have a very long, healthy, safe career of riding motorcycles. It's unlike any other sport in the world, you know? So, you know, please take a look at their channel and understand their mission on what they're trying to do. I just love it. I'm down to the last two questions. Tattoos.
This one's yours. I don't know if I should show mine, but then again, showing mine might give me some more subs. So,
well, I wanted to share because my brother-in-law who's watching. He's watching on his television, so he's not commenting. Phil just got done a motif sleeve on his arm that's done in Japanese theme, and I've seen a little bit of Potsy's tattoos that are just phenomenal. So, if you're not comfortable, that's fine.
No, I'm okay.
Where do you start, Dom?
Yeah,
I don't want to see you dropping trow or anything. I don't want to see tattoos on your bum or something like that. I'm out on that. But
look, when I grew up, I suppose when I was quite young, having tattoos wasn't going to be very good for your future as getting a job and so forth. So I waited a little bit later in my life, and then I kind of had 7 people tattoo one arm, and I just was so unhappy about what was going on there. I met a tattooist by the name of Dave Rand, and Dave and I become very good friends. So much so I spent so much time with the guy. You know, I started off by saying, okay, we'll just do this and we'll do that, and it just progressed to pretty much to the point where I've got pretty much my entire body from my waist up at least tattooed. I've got one side done down to a pair of shorts. I've got my backside tattooed as well. But you know something, I made a lifelong friend out of my tattooist. It's been an incredible story. He's such a gentleman. I just couldn't speak highly enough about him. And we had a lot of discussions about what I wanted and so forth. But my tattooing's a bit different to most people. I have so when you look at my tattooing, I have no skin breaks in my tattooing, and the reason for that is I didn't want a number of tattoos. I wanted it to flow and again create something. And again, it's something I probably thought about. Didn't think too much about this arm, but did think about the rest of it pretty much, you know.
Rob Charwood or Throttle Down Under's just said, "Get your gear off, Pottsy."
Yeah, all right. I went in a tattoo competition. I don't know whether you know who Seth Enslow is. Seth Enslow was a crusty demon from years gone back, and quite heavily tattooed his face and arms and hands and whatever. Anyway, I went in a tattoo competition, and he was one of the judges. And you know, and when I won that tattoo competition, he came up and he said to me, he said, "Oh, you win." He whispered to me, "You win." He said, "You actually got more tattooing than I've got." He said, "You just can see more of mine than you can see of yours, you know." But I was kind of a bit taken back by the whole process. It was quite funny, you know what I mean? But
I think tattooing is quite normal now. I think it's no surprise to see people with tattoos. But I think the thing that sets Pottsy aside from others a little bit is the fact that it's very traditional Japanese. So there's no skin whatsoever. Like, it's not one tattoo here and one tattoo. It's just a complete body. There's no skin. So, for example, when he had all his medical problems and had to have blood taken and everything else, it's a big drama. And his kidney surgeon actually said, I followed a line of the tattoo, so I wouldn't.
He actually said to me, he said, "Oh, how heavily tattooed are you?" And I said, "What does it matter?" He said, "Oh no, I'm just curious." He said to me, "Show me." So I had to take my shirt off and I showed him, and he said, "Oh, I can cut through there. That's fine." And he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, follows the line of the tattoo.
Can't see where it was done and so forth, but it was pretty funny, you know what I mean? And I know when I went to lie on the table, all the people, you know, when you're sort of going under for your operation, they're all looking at me, and I'm thinking, I'm going to get played with like a toy here.
Yeah, and I think all the nurses were going and grabbing their all nurse friends and saying, "You've got to come and look at this guy."
They're all rolling him over in the hospital to check him out.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it was a bit like that. So is it your brother-in-law? Did you say? It's
Phil.
Watching. No,
just show. Come on, go on.
Is Mr. Charlwood still here?
Yeah. Yep. Throttle Down Under still on. This is for you.
This one's for you, Phil.
So
I don't know if you can see very well from there, but
and it goes all. I won't display his ass for the whole world, but
all right, my sister Kim is watching.
I'll cover the butt crack. There you go.
You got a lot more tattooing to do, Phil. My sister, open up that checkbook.
Hey, listen. Do you want to know the funniest thing, right? He tells everybody he's got a picture of me on him, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's beautiful."
it's here.
Inappropriate.
And
How dare you say that?
He had an 8-hour thinking one day and comes home. He goes, "I got your name on me today." I said, "That's beautiful, sweetheart," thinking it was over the heart or anything. It's in his armpit, Eric.
Wow.
I know, that's love.
Up here on my shoulder was the worst ever. Oh my gosh. Up by the armpit.
You've got amazing tattoos.
Yeah.
I do. I'm not going to share them on this particular stream. This is a KazoMoto stream.
I just want to apologise for my nearly 67-year-old body. Okay.
That's what Throttle Down Under just said. Flex.
Thanks, Rob.
Last question. Any trips coming up in the near future?
Yeah. So got a wedding in a couple of weeks, and we've got 2 more grandchildren being born
before Christmas.
No, by October.
Oh, yeah. Another wedding in March.
Another wedding next year. So Leanne's having long service leave. What that means in Australia is when you work a number of years, let's say 10 years, you'll get 6 weeks off, and every year you work after that, you'll get a certain amount of time off again. So it's additional to your annual leave or your annual holidays that you earn. So Leanne's going to take off from
3 months.
3 months from October through to January. And whilst we're going to fit in some new grandchildren, and we're probably going to travel a bit during that time.
Yep.
I've been looking at a number of trips, and I'm not really sure where we're going to go, but we will travel.
We've got some options.
We've got some options, and I think we'll travel for at least 2 to 3 weeks in one of those trips, and I'm really looking forward to it. But at the moment, we've just got some home duties to do, and at the moment, so and I think, you know, without for those that do or don't know, we've got 6 children altogether. We've got 8 grandchildren currently, and 2 more coming this year.
2 more cooking.
2 more on the way. So that's 10. We make a very big photo and a very big picture. We make quite a bit of a presence when we're somewhere. But yeah, it's an amazing thing. We, you know, they mean the world to us, you know.
So I think we're doing some more collaboration work with Caffeine and Gasoline as well. Yeah. So we're working still with him. And we do have one thing that we have, well, we're looking at an opportunity on YouTube that I don't think has been done previously, and I can be corrected. So please let me know if I'm wrong. But we're looking and I'm setting up an international live stream. So we're going to be drawing in on that community-based approach that we love, and starting up an international live stream. So once a month, we're going to be drawing in a panel of international people into our live stream and talking everything motorcycles and community-based from around the world, looking at possibly the two-up or pillion perspective as well. Doesn't matter what brand of bike. As you can see, KazoMoto doesn't really say Harley Moto, so we're not brand specific. It can be whatever bikes you have, and bringing that together. So that's still in the planning. That's a little exclusive for everybody listening in.
Am I allowed to ride a Vespa?
You can be in it. You're in. You're in.
but another thing too, Eric. When you have we watch a lot of lives from around the UK and even in US, and some of the subjects you guys talk about aren't really very focused here, like the beer thing that's going on over there at the moment. We're unaffected by that because we don't have that brand of beer here. We ride the same motorbikes and we sort of understand, some of what goes on, but it's news to us, you know what I mean? And it's interesting to know that, but we don't have that. But if you had a live, people are going to bring to the table things that are commonplace or topical for them, you know what I mean, as such. But we don't see that, but we do watch it, and we do try and understand how the issues are presented and so forth. But
I think we won't disclose the panel members yet, but we're very humbled for the people that have come on board and agreed to be part of the panel. So more news to come your way, or YouTube way, I should say. But the biggest thing, and I wanted to bring props for this, but Gary wouldn't let me, right? The biggest thing happening for us is you coming to Australia. Let's just face it, that's the biggest thing. So November 2023, so not long, not many sleeps yet, you're coming out. So dates will be confirmed soon, and I'll leave you and Mrs. Kraken to work through those dates. But just so everybody is aware, we're organising a Kraken meetup when he's over here. That'll be Sydney based. So anyone that is in the New South Wales area and can get their backside to Sydney, some more information will be coming about a Kraken meetup. And if you are interested, I'll say the email address, but we'll send it through to Kraken and he can put it in the comments below. So it'll be Kraken_in_Australia@hotmail.com. If anyone is interested in meeting up with Kraken, please reach out to that email address, and there'll be more information coming your way.
Thank you. People should know Leanne volunteered to be the liaison to if she'll have my complete itinerary, and she'll be a one-stop shop if you wanted to cross paths. And I'd love to shake your hand of whoever wishes to meet me at the time. With my luck, nobody will show up, so we'll find out.
I think we'll be pushing them out the door. We'll be full. But I will be looking at a venue and things like that. So there will be some requirements, obviously, for catering purposes to RSVP and things like that. But there'll be more information coming.
Very good. I think ideally what Leanne's looking at, or what we're looking at, is when we get to Sydney, finding a place where we can get a group of us together and not be in a pub fighting a band and loud music and things like that. So someplace where we can have a chill time to sit down and look forward to the fellowship. So that's kind of what's on the hidden agenda, if you will.
Definitely.
So is there anything else you would like to add to this stream before I end it? We have just gone over an hour, so it's time to wrap it up.
I don't know. Gary's
No.
showing his body, so I think we're
No,
just about done.
I think we're done with all that. Thank you.
Very good. Well, I wanted to personally thank each and every one of you that popped in on the stream. I love you all. Thank you so much. You made my day. It's always kind of scary doing something like this and having nobody show, and it's like crickets chirping in the background. But we had a great turnout. Thank you so much. Love you all. And
Thank you, Eric.
Thank
cheers
you,
to
everyone.
everyone.
Really appreciate you all.
If you could stick around for just a moment, please, while I end the broadcast. Goodbye, everybody. Peace.